Cincinnati Reds baseball is presented by St. Elizabeth Healthcare and the Young Family Cancer Center, a regional leader in cancer care. By your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealers. For all Toyota offers, go to toyota.com. By Wells Fargo Active Cash Credit Card. Earn unlimited 2% cash rewards on purchases. Terms apply. And by Bet365, where winning is everything.
The support and love I've received from all my friends and family has just been incredible. And they're a part of this journey as much as anyone else, and they should relish in this accomplishment just as well as anyone else.
What a stellar return for TJ Antone. Over 2 years off the mound, a third Tommy John. You say that, and then there's the reality of the time, the tears, the pain to get back a third time from Tommy John.
Well, you think about a generation ago that pitchers, once you had a torn ulnar collateral ligament, you were done, period. There was no coming back. No one Tommy John, no two Tommy Johns, and now we're seeing three Tommy Johns. The advancement of medicine has made it possible for this kind of great story to happen. It all came together last night, what could have been with TJ Antone on the mound, maybe even getting a win, but meanwhile his family was here, and boy did they enjoy seeing him on the mound.
Couple of backward Ks, not the same curveball we had seen in the past. TJ Friedel had to help him out near the ivy, but his sweeper played.
Well, he got specific instructions from his orthopedic surgeon, Dr. Tim Kremchek. Do not do the same thing that got you here. Don't try to throw 100 miles an hour, and try to get a little bit of that rotation off that curveball, because that's the reason I've had to operate on you 3 times.
And Antone gave that credit to friends and family, also able to check in with them down to the field. He relived some of the highlights watching the monitor during Reds postgame. He said this to the media after the affair.
From the moment I heard my name in the bullpen when the phone rang, I knew it was time to go. So got warming up. I felt fantastic. Got in the game. Got the first punchy, was like feeling myself, had some good swag about it, and then Ian hit it pretty far. TJ made an unbelievable catch, routine pop fly.
So you acknowledged that right in the moment.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that was an incredible catch. You know, my high school coach always told us when a player behind you makes a great catch, you take your hat off for him, and that was just an incredible catch. So huge like momentum continuer there, and then you know, I got ahead in the last at bat and punched him out and got him looking, and as soon as it left my fingertips, like I knew I had punched him out, kind of locked him up, and it felt great. All the emotions, like super pumped in that moment. Came into the dugout, huge congratulations from the teammates, and I kind of walked to the end of the dugout, and it kind of hit me then. So a couple of tears, you know, I had to step away for a second, but wow, just an amazing night, amazing comeback, you know, wrap up of the story, and then it's cool to continue writing it. You know, it's not over, it's just getting started again, and you know, I want to keep going out there and doing that and giving our team a chance to win every time I get the ball.
All the feels. These are human beings out there.
He's such an easy guy to root for. I mean, he's been so transparent. He's been an inspiration to so many players that have been injured in and out of the Reds organization. I mean, he's got a lot of people pulling for him.
We'll go to break. When we're back, Steer Clear. A look at the diversity of Spencer Steer. The bat's been heating up, and he does whatever the Reds need.
T-Mobile. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Cincinnati Reds and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cincinnati Reds.
The dynamic defensive versatility of Spencer Steer. You saw that dime from right. He had lobbied to Terry Francona, let me stay in right field. I want to show off my arm. He got that assist. He has played multiple positions in a dozen games, and during spring, he took Jim Day on a tour of his many gloves.
We all know your defensive versatility makes you a super valuable player. How much do you have to be in tune with the gloves? You have 3, correct, that you have to maintain?
Yeah, so I got 3 gloves, one for infield, one for outfield, one for first base. I think the big thing for me is just making sure I'm getting my work daily at these different spots. Last thing I want to do is get called to play a position and I'm not prepared for it. So I think what I've learned over the years doing it is making sure I'm getting my work at all these different spots and staying prepared for, just the ability to play those spots.
You turned yourself into a Gold Glove caliber first baseman like overnight, which is almost unheard of. I've heard so many times one of the bigger adjustments is to the glove. How much of an adjustment was it for you? And you look like you have on the smaller end of a first baseman's glove. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think the big part, or the hardest part, like you said, was just like the size of the glove. As you can see, it's a lot bigger than this one, which I would use at second or third base. So, Mike Napoli actually broke this glove in for me.
He's the master at that.
I had no idea how to break in a first base glove, so he did a great job with this one. But yeah, I think just the more reps I got in that position and the more reps I got with this thing, I saw myself getting better.
People talk about personal relationship with their gloves, their bats. Are you that guy?
Not really, to be honest with you. I like them. I think I did a good job breaking in this one. Willie Harris helped me with this one. And I mentioned Mike Napoli helped me with this one. So, I like how they all feel. And it's fun to have this many. I enjoy.
Do you have a favorite?
This one, because I broke it in. This one right here. I did a great job with this one. I know how to break in an infield glove. But no, I enjoy embracing the challenge of what moving around brings, so it's fun for me. The first step reads, I think the one that's tough is the ground ball in the 4-hole, knowing, which balls to go after and then which balls you gotta, go to first and cover the bag. The last thing you want to do is go for that ball, second baseman gets it, and then you're relying on the pitcher to get over and cover first. So just dialing in that read specifically was a challenge because, your instincts are to go get the ball. And, as a first baseman, sometimes you got to fight that instinct and just go cover the bag. So that was a tough one for me.
Are you a quiet first baseman?
Chris, those gloves look like a Russian nesting doll, and that's almost what Steer is. You just peel back a layer, and he's another position.
In order to be a guy that is versatile enough to move all over the field, you have to be 2 things. You have to be, number one, fundamentally sound, and he was raised with good coaching in Orange County, California. He's very fundamentally sound. And the other is you have to have good game awareness and field awareness. What to do with the ball if it's hit to me, what to do with the ball if it's not hit to me, and he always seems to be in the right place at the right time, and as long as he continues to swing the bat, they're going to find a place for him to play.
Hits in 9 in a row, getting on base at a great rate. The Reds trying to find a way to win. We'll go to break. When we're back, the finale of the roadie from the not-so-friendly confines. Back in Chicago, a new drinking establishment nearby. The Home Away from Home. That's right. It's a bar next to Wrigley made for road team fans. Lots of Reds gear in there in recent days. A little feel of Cincinnati in Chicago on the north side.
Sean Casey would be happy to know that there's a safe haven for Reds fans here.
He might hop off a bus and give a friendly hello on the way out of town. It's the final game of 4 between the Reds and Cubs. Cubs have been great in their home ballpark. Our American Family Insurance home protection, 14 straight home wins, 6 walk-offs in that time, 3 straight walk-offs at the Reds' expense. If the Cubs were to win today, they would have the longest home winning streak for the organization since 1935. Those Cubs won the National League, lost in the World Series to the Tigers. Can the Reds play spoiler? Terry Francona's club is the worst divisional record in the game. They're 1-8. Dane Myers leads off for a 5th time this year against Shota Imanaga. And he fouls away strike one.
Imanaga is a guy that they signed to a 4-year contract when he came over from Japan. He's having a great run of it, and he seems to get a little bit better every year. He is a real student of pitching. He's a guy that's not overpowering, but he makes that fastball run up the ladder very well. Against right-handers, though, you're going to see 2 pitches. Fastball, splitter, and he gets a lot of chases with that splitter down in the zone.
0-2. Foul tip, strike 3. Reds 9 from St. Elizabeth Healthcare. Matt McLain bats 2 for the first time since the road trip opener on Friday. First time not at short for Ellie De La Cruz. He's the DH. Stewart, Steer, Stevenson, Blade still in there against a lefty. Dunn's first start since May of last year, and Key Brian Hayes. McLain got off the schneid yesterday, Chris. He snapped an 0 for 19 with a broken bat hit, and then his next time up, he went deep.
Yeah, talked to him a little bit about that home run. He barreled it up, went to right field. That was the really encouraging part. This is what he did in spring training. He got everybody talking about, you know, the rejuvenation of Matt McLain. We're finally going to see McLain the way everybody is expected to see him. And it's kind of fell off the table here at the beginning of the year. Maybe he's beginning to get it back.
He also had some alert base running moves. The first to third on the base hit to right the first time he reached. The second to home on the 2-run sac fly by Ellie De La Cruz in the 9th.
For me, that ranks right up there with Deion Sanders scoring from second base on a ground ball back to the pitcher.
Now, the stumble by Suzuki aided it. McLain was locked in on going to the plate the whole time. Imanaga coming off 7 scoreless against the Diamondbacks on Saturday. Oh, poke to right field, coming out hard, unable to get to it. Michael Conforto. And McLain's got a base hit. Conforto's first start since Wednesday of last week. PCA is arguably the best defender in the game. Ian Happ, a 4-time Gold Glover. Bregman and Swanson have made plays on the series. Horner is always smooth. Bush and Amaya. Ellie De La Cruz on the road trip. He's 4 for 22, 7 strikeouts. First pitch, he gets a heater and pops it up. Out of play, foul.
Ellie has had his problems with Imanaga in the past. Not a huge sample size, only 7 at bats, but he's yet to have a base hit. Although what we've seen this year, I think, is really encouraging about Ellie De La Cruz. His right-handed batting is so much better than it was. Power is there, and he just seems to be more comfortable at the plate.
If I were to choose one word to encapsulate Ellie as a right-handed hitter this year, I feel like it's the most balanced we have seen him.
Good point.
Decent lead for McLain, held on by Bush. That split is a tough pitch.
Yeah, his secondary pitches, whether you're a lefty or a righty, they're different. If you're a right-hander, you're going to see the splitter. It comes out like a changeup, goes straight down, maybe a little bit of away from the batter run. If you're a lefty, you see the sidearm curveball, the sweeper.
Poked by De La Cruz. Conforto has this red. Now, you were doing some digging before the game. While Imanaga is not a tall man, you see a difference in his release point and how the spin and the flight path of the ball plays.
Well, different really compared to a taller pitcher. Imanaga is listed at 5'10". I think he's more like 5'8". His release point on his fastball is 5 feet 5 inches. So when he throws that fastball, it stays flat the whole way with good backspin. It never does sink. And nowadays, when your four-seam fastball doesn't sink, they call that movement. So it fools the hitter's eye to thinking, okay, I'm going to hit that ball. It's going to naturally come down into my bat plane a little bit. But his doesn't. It's very good about staying upstairs, and his spin rate has gotten better every year.
Sal Stewart, 0 for 4, a walk yesterday. Stewart had that stellar start, deservedly won Rookie of the Month in the National League. In the early stage of May, he's 2 for 25, 5 strikeouts. The lone walk came yesterday. Loaded swing at that split. In the last few days, Chris, we've seen at least one great at-bat a game from Stewart. And otherwise, I feel like we've seen an even more aggressive posture.
Yeah, aggressive and maybe too big of a swing, as you saw in that last swing there. Got way outside of himself.
Soared on that split.
Yeah, now you're kind of guessing up there. He's obviously not seeing the difference between, any fastball or splitter coming out of Imanaga's hand. And that's the other part of Imanaga. His release point is identical for all of his pitches. So they call that tunneling, if you're a pitcher or a hitter. And he's just tough to decipher.
Blocked well by Amaya.
And if you noticed on that particular sequence, he is a master at using the pitch clock to his advantage. I don't know whether he's seeing it out of the corner of his eye, but he brought that pitch clock all the way down to about 3 seconds. And meanwhile, Sal Stewart's waiting in the batter's box for him to start that delivery. That gets you tensed up a little bit.
Lifted right side. So on his career stateside, the splits are fairly even. But this year, perhaps telling of how good the split is, he has been great to both sides, but way better against right-handed hitters.
Tell you when he's really good is when he gets 2 strikes on a hitter. The batting average that he gives up against when he's gone 2 strikes is like pitching against a team of pitchers. It's .088.
We'll get Doc Brown ready. Safe slide back from McLean.
And he makes you earn things. I mean, he's a little bit of aware here with 2 strikes or 2 outs that, maybe you're going to see some running by McLean at first base. But he's pretty quick to the plate, Imanaga is. Not an easy guy to get a big jump from.
Swing and a miss. A sea of splitters. Stewart flips the bat in disgust. Strikeouts at the start and the close for Imanaga.
At the Home Depot.
Cubs are the hottest team in baseball. They've won 8 straight. Horner, Ballesteros, Bregman, Hack, Bush, Conforto, Swanson, Crow, Armstrong, and Amaya. Victorious now at 18 of 21, over 6 runs a game in that time. Brent Lauder trying to rebound after his roughest major league outing.
Yeah, it's been a long few days for Brent Lauder, I guarantee you. Go back and think about the game that he pitched in Pittsburgh. Probably lost sleep. Probably woke up in the middle of the night thinking, how did I walk those guys? Why didn't I make the adjustment? And he holds himself to a very high standard.
And now he has to contend with what may be the deepest lineup in the game right now. They don't have any one bat like an Aaron Judge or a Shohei Ohtani when he's cooking. But 1 through 9, there aren't many lineups that are deeper than this.
And they wear you down, especially the top 4 in this lineup.
Reds finally corralled Nico Horner yesterday, 0 for 5, grounded out 4 times, including a double play. That ended a 15-game on-base streak. That bounces home for Lauder. Horner's been a doubles machine, and he's notoriously one of the tougher hitters to strike out in today's game. Lauder has him at 2 strikes. Ground ball, Sal Stewart. Reds defense, Blade, Myers, and Dunn. Blake Dunn saw most time at center field in the minor leagues, but has played right a pretty good amount. Hayes, McLean's first started short since the last of August last year. Stewart, Steer, and Stevenson. Moises Ballesteros, 0 for 6 on the series. He's just 2 for his last 27. But Chris, you talk to those in the Cubs contingent, and as deep as this lineup is, they think their best pure hitter might be this 22-year-old.
He keeps it simple, no question, but he's also a very aggressive hitter. I mean, he's up there to swing the bat.
Just like Sal Stewart, he got a little taste of Major League Baseball last year. Do you see any comps between the 2 young stars?
They both got power. They both make pretty good contact. I think Stewart's a little bit better defensively. They are still looking for a position for Ballesteros. Guy definitely built for comfort, not for speed.
Two-one.
See, that swing right there does remind me of Sal Stewart. Keeps his front shoulder in, trying to drive his head right down to the outer part of the plate where that pitch was. And that's what really separates, you know, a hitter who comes up here from the minor leagues ready to hit big league pitching or not. I mean, he fouled that ball off, yes, but he didn't pull off the ball. That tells me as a pitcher, he's seeing the outside corner.
That's driven to center. Myers going back in the gap. And he's got a deep track. Well, it's the sunniest day. It's the only day game of the series. The flags today are going right to left for the first time. That's the first time a ball in flight, a non-homer, seemed to have some carry to it. Alex Bregman entered this series in a bit of a funk. He's got hits in each of the first 3 games and a walk in each of the first 3. He was among those intentionally walked when the Reds loaded the bases in the 10th. And Michael Busch, who's due up 5th in the order for the Cubs, worked a walk to win it. Right at Myers. Oh, 1-2-3 first for Rhett Lauder.
Papa John's.
9th inning last night. The rally sparked on a solo shot by Steer. Took his hitting streak to 9 games, hitting .355 in that time. Reds scored 4 in that 9th inning, took a brief lead, lost the next half inning. Now Steer is the Red who has hit Imanaga best. He's 3 for 6 against him. That includes a home run. Hard ground ball is through, base hit. Best batted ball by a Red so far. And it's now hits in 10 straight for Steer.
I remember when I first saw Spencer Steer come up out of the minor leagues and start to hit, I thought, man, that swing can travel. I mean, it just is a good, solid, very flat arc swing for Spencer Steer. He got beat a lot by fastballs last year. That's not happening nearly as much this year.
Tyler Stevenson. He delivered a pinch hit, base hit in the ninth. Now has hits in 7 of his last 8 games, hitting .333 in that time. This is the 4th time the Reds have opposed Imanaga. He's 1-0 against the Reds, ERA of 3 even. What he's done best is limit hits. Reds have hit 190 against him as a team. Swing and a miss.
That's the high fastball we were talking about, that he throws it from a low angle and it doesn't sink. Almost gives the hitter the impression that it rises.
J.J. Bleday. 0 for 2, both strikeouts and a walk lifetime against Imanaga. He had 2 hits and a ribby last night. 9 games as a Red, .310 with 4 bombs. Cubs, though, seem to have made an adjustment. They have lived away the last few days. And you mentioned when Imanaga does go left on left, that's where the sweeper becomes a far more prominent pitch.
Yeah, he doesn't throw a lot of strikes with that, but he gets a lot of chases. So it comes out of his hand looking like a strike, but it most of the time darts out of the zone.
Bleday, center field. Pro Armstrong. 2 down.
You're back in August. That ball's got a chance.
Hit it hard. That's a good sign that he seemed to see that fastball well. So now Blake Dunn, first major league start since May the 6th last year in Atlanta. His last major league hit was a bunt single. He's 0 for his last 17 in the big leagues. His first major league plate appearance of the year. And he looks different. He's standing up taller. The hands are held higher. That's intentional to help him in part with high fastballs.
Well, the difference this year from last year on that response at the big league level is that you might as well stand tall, because that high pitch is going to be called a strike whether you're crunched over or not, just the way that they measure the strike zone for the ABS.
Now, from the moment he made that change, look at what's happened to the productivity of Blake Dunn. Last 61 games when he changed his stance, .342. Showed some power in that time. He's also developed his throwing arm in the outfield. Bregman just backed up at third.
Yeah, the one difference that I see with Dunn also, and I have to go back to look at tape to see if it's a major change, but watch how he holds his bat flat. Even though he's standing up straight, the bat is on plane for a high fastball because he holds it flat. It's a lot easier to get to that heater with that kind of position.
And he lays off that one. He's also been open about his work on the mental side of the game. Seeing a mental skills coach. One of the processes that he does at the plate, tries to release, will sometimes drag his bat in the dirt. That's a way of him letting go of something that didn't go well. Steer off, and that's fouled back. He does have tools. We have seen the speed. He is arguably the fastest Red. If you had him and Ellie De La Cruz race today, and you ask me to choose, I think I'm choosing Blake Dunn. Strike three, fastball.
Sorrento vehicles.
Get your kids ready to play ball. Don't miss Play Ball Weekend. Head your way June 5th through the 7th, encouraging youth everywhere to get out and play. Visit playball.org today to register for a free event near you. Brent Lauder, after a 1-2-3 first, hits the outside edge to Ian Happ. Happ has been on base in a career-high 27 straight games. Had 3 hits yesterday, including a 2-run homer. One of the few times he was retired, that was against T.J. Antone when he drove the ball to the wall, and T.J. Friedel made a very nice catch. Couple of fly ball outs already for Lauder. Happ leads the Cubs with 9 home runs. Tell you one thing that stands out about Lauder, even if he's behind in the count, it does not necessarily mean, in fact often means not, a fastball, and he's able to execute it for a strike. And he gets him looking. Our Champion Windows pitch tracks.
Well, you're exactly right about that. I mean, being able to throw your off-speed pitch when you're behind in the count, that's a great equalizer for a pitcher. That's what veteran pitchers do in the major leagues. And one reason why Lauder is here, you know, drafted in 2023. He's only had 3 starts in AAA. I mean, they rushed him to the big leagues, and he's been game ready.
Well, if there is any one Cub that's been at the heart of Reds' misery this series, it's Michael Busch. Had the chopper walk-off winner up the middle a couple of nights ago. Had the walk bases loaded last night to walk it off. He has been on base in 7 of his last 9 plate appearances between yesterday and the day before.
Well, he's a pretty dangerous hitter. I mean, his home runs are down so far this year, only 3 of them, but he had 34 last year, drove in 90, right in the middle of it all.
I like that. Lauder lifting his hands with that fastball. But Busch is both patient and willing to swing. He generally walks a lot, strikes out a lot, and does hit his share of home runs when he's swinging his best bat. Another chilly day, fairly breezy. Those flags going pretty heavy right to left. To first. Hot shot handled calmly by Steer.
You know, he featured Spencer Steer in our little pregame show, his talk with Jim Day. Got a brand new first baseman's glove out there, broken in by Mike Napoli. But it's not always the glove. Sometimes it's the guy wearing the glove, and Steer can pick it.
Have glove will travel to whatever position you need. First pitch, Conforto launched to right. He won the first game of the series with a home run. He gets the first score in the finale with a solo shot.
You know, the slider is the pitch that in this ball game already, Lauder has thrown it wild a couple of times. Looks like he kind of drops his arm a little bit and it gets flat. That time he left it around waist high. That's good hitting for Conforto. That's a pitch you have to concentrate on keeping your fingers on top of the baseball.
And we see Lauder repeatedly blowing into his hand after that pitch. Dansby Swanson, base hit last night. He's 2 for 13 on the series. There's a slider yanked.
Maybe he should have blown into his hand before the pitch.
He's had a slider spiked in the dirt already today. The changeup looks pretty good, though.
Really good.
And some days one pitch might not play as well, right?
You know, what I really like about Rhett Lauder is the fact that he comes ready to pitch in the major leagues. He can pitch with a scouting report, but he knows that 93 miles an hour is plenty hard enough. So he knows that the way he's going to make a living in the major leagues is changing speeds and moving the ball around the zone, not trying to get the 97 on the fastball. Leave it where it is and get everything else a little bit better.
Right field. Done way over against that tight wall, and that's in the foul seats.
I've always wondered, really, especially over the last few years, why it's okay for a pitcher like Rhett Lauder to pitch at 93 and get hitters out. You're not tasking trying to get him to throw harder. But you've got other guys in the bullpen who are, you know, we need you to throw a little bit harder. We need you to get that up to 98. Well, if you can control it at 94, what's the problem?
Lauder goes full count. He did have some command woes against the Pirates. Walked 4 in that game. This one fouled by Swanson. He's showing him what he's got, this AB. Of those 3 changeups, he's gotten to swing twice. But would he double up here? Tried to do that earlier in the AB and missed on the second one for a ball. It's a short. McLean. Oh, Conforto go. Reds trail it 1-0. Couple of base hits, both singles so far against Shota Imanaga. Ke'Bryan Hayes will lead it off. He has 1 hit on the trip. It is a homer this series. He's 1 for 14 on the journey with 5 strikeouts. Imanaga's nicknamed the throwing philosopher. Told the media when he first arrived in Chicago that he has a unique personality, and he tries to say something in a normal way, but it comes out sophisticated. It's the nickname that was bestowed upon him. Hayes over shortstop. That's a base hit. I just keep hearing Mel Brooks in History of the World. Stand-up philosopher. Did you blank today? Did you try to blank today? B. Arthur in one of her great movie performances.
We're going down the Mel Brooks path today, huh?
You can do that every day. We go on a Spaceballs run. Spaceballs 2 coming out soon. Dane Myers has struck out. The swing tells you a lot, right? And Dane Myers, who in his time in the leadoff spot for the Reds, is getting on base at an over .450 rate. That's a big cut as he bends the knee on a split.
I get the feeling watching Dane Myers that he keeps it very simple. He's a see the ball, hit the guy, or hit the ball kind of guy. Not somebody who gets too wrapped up in scouting reports as to what the tendencies of the pitcher are. I mean, he's just kind of up there to get good play coverage and go. The next step, I think, for Myers is to be a little bit more refined with the strike zone. He has a tendency to chase pitches when he's behind and get himself out on pitchers' pitches early in the count. With the strike zone shrinking more than ever, it's time for hitters to do that.
Popped up. Horner going way out, gives ground to Conforto. Brief word now from Echo.
It's time to go yard. Echo, power on and on.
Matt McLean base hit his first time. Now you mentioned the zone shrinking. We're seeing it. The walk rate early this year, at least as of a couple of weeks ago, was the highest it's been since 1950.
I don't think it's only the walks. I mean, that's obvious. That's the most easily trackable stat, yes. But I think if you even go deeper in the numbers, you see that there are more 2-ball counts, 3-ball counts than ever before. Hitters are taking more pitches, and that's a smart thing to do.
Turned on by McLean a little early. Well hit foul.
I mean, gone are the days when that unhittable 93-mile-an-hour slider that ends up 4 inches off the plate called for strike 3. That was the thing that really sent a lot of batters into spirals. That's gone now. So umpires have to call much more of a square zone than ever before.
Swing and a miss on the split. Did you see what Pitching Ninja did with the Ohtani Altuve AB the other day?
No.
He did at first, of course, the pitch overlay, which, I mean, his stuff's incredible, right? Money fastball, great breaking ball, going down and away to a right-handed hitter. And it got Altuve to swing. It was not near the zone. It was way, way, way off the plate away. So he proposed the idea, could Altuve have gotten to it if he swung himself? So he superimposed the image of Altuve over the bat, and the answer was no.
So maybe Ellie would have a better chance.
Yes, if Ellie could swing himself, he probably could get to that pitch. He has flied to right so far today. This one poked to right. Conforto. Routine leadoff hit for Hayes. He does not leave first. Come cheer on your Reds starting tomorrow night. They face the Astros in a 3-game set presented by Jergens. Grab seats now at reds.com/tickets. Astros are in a share of last place in the American League West, 4 games out. They have lost 3 of their last 4 series. Granted, those series were Yankees, Dodgers, and at Orioles. Pete Crow Armstrong, who had a critical home run late last night with 2 outs and a man on, he forged a tie when he hit a Graham Ashcraft pitch that was way down.
Yeah, that was really a very good swing by Pete Crow Armstrong. The pitch was an off-speed pitch that went straight down below the knees by the time that Armstrong hit that ball the other way for a home run.
Is he a guy, though, because he swings so often, that it doesn't just have to be down, it has to be off the plate?
You really can't tell. Sometimes there's guys who are just good bad ball hitters. But the point you make is that he swings a lot. And if you swing a lot, you're going to chase pitches out of the zone if you can get into a pitcher's count. But here he is on a 3-1 count.
Lauder's outs mostly on his heater early today. Strike 2.
Oh, he wants to challenge that in the worst way. Would not be a good challenge.
Just there, got the zone. We saw Bush last night tap his helmet late after he took a step and a breath. Was not allowed the challenge. Proved to be a moot point. 3-2. Now he gets his walk.
Yeah, 2 seconds is what the umpires allow. I'm not sure I can do anything in 2 seconds.
Yeah, that is an immediate process. Miguel Amaya yesterday pinch hit and sacrificed in the 10th. He's 0 for 3 with a walk on the series. Amaya's having a down year with contact, and he's been down of late. 3 for his last 22, a $136. That said, one of his hits in that time, a home run. The handful of Cubs that have been struggling have generally provided pop. Crow Armstrong very much a base stealing threat. He goes. His first full big league season had 27 swipes in 24. He had 35 steals last year. He co-leads the team with 7 early this year. Armstrong hops back. All hard foul. Scatters some Cubs on the rail. There has not been a stolen base attempt with Lauder on the mound yet this season. Does not yet have a pickoff either. His good friend Chase Burns has a great move. Still looking for his first pick. Tony Santillan also has a great move. Way outside, 2-2. And Chris, you saw it early. The slider is the pitch that it seems difficult for Lauder to lasso right now.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's the grip out there, maybe a little bit of a chilly weather. The balls seem to be very slick when it gets chilly. I think he's kind of dropping his arm just a little bit on that slider too, but you know, you do whatever you have to do to get the feel. I mean, the pitchers are not robots, and every time you go out on the mound, you've got a little something different working or not working.
Crow Armstrong goes, pitch missed. That's another walk. And Lauder went 1 1/3 against the Pirates. It was a barrage of walks that saw him lifted. And he and Connor Phillips set a dubious record, combining to walk 7 consecutive batters.
Well, the only thing worse than walking the leadoff hitter in an inning is walking the first 2 hitters in the inning. And the only thing worse than that is to walk them if they're batting 8 and 9 in a lineup. And that's what he's just done. That's why Derek Johnson's out there to have a little conversation. And I think this conversation probably is going like, hey, you know what? You've got good stuff here. Why aren't you challenging these guys a little bit? You know, Conforto hit a home run on a hanging slider. He did not hit one of your good pitches for a home run. So come after these guys with good stuff. Problem now is you get the top of the order, Horner, Ballesteros, Bregman, and Happ. That's a tough quartet.
He's leaning on the off speed, more sliders and changeups than 4-seamers or 2-seamers. Nico Horner is grounded out to second base. Stewart creeps some at second. Giant lead for Crow Armstrong. And there's a landed first pitch slider for a strike. Hayes had been even with 30, backs up. Time called by Horner. It's an odd sky right now. That bright sun is shining down on the field, but a view of the city beyond the outfield is those ugly, soupy gray clouds. And the flags are changing directions often. Hard ground ball to Hayes, should be 2. Feed to Seward 1 on the first, double play. Crow Armstrong to third. Reds get a couple of outs.
Well, one of the ways you get a ground ball is you throw an inside sinking fastball to a right-handed hitter, and he got Horner, who likes to use the middle of the field, a little bit in on his hands right there. That's a perfect spot to get that ground ball, and you hit it to a Gold Glover at third base.
Ballesteros, first pitch. Steer calmly takes it himself. 2 walks at the start. No runs yielded by Rhett Lauder.
Thing ever.
First time up, Sal Stewart against Shota Imanaga. StatCast 3D, Google Cloud. All splits. Struck him out. What happens in round 2? Grounded back to Imanaga. Yet another split. 1 away.
Yeah, Sal is doing something here today, last few days, now that he's been a little bit of a setback with his batting. He's doing something that he didn't do early in the year, which is get himself out early in the count on pitchers' pitches. One of his mantras early on was, I'm going to get a good pitch to hit in every at bat. And he's chased a lot of stuff out of the zone here already today.
Spencer Steer, meanwhile, took a first pitch ball his first time, does so again here. Got a good pitch and bounced it hard in between second and short for a base hit. Now, the Reds have had a hit in each inning, all singles. They have not moved a runner beyond first base. Back-to-back splits miss badly away. He's done that a few times in the start. The first noticeable wide miss, he gave a quick, hard nod to Miguel Amaya. There's a 4-pitch walk. Brief word now from Big Sandy Superstore.
You'll find the best selection of the top brands at the guaranteed lowest price. Big Sandy Superstore in Fairfield and the Kenwood Shopping Center.
Tyler Stevenson struck out his first time, had a couple of well-hit fouls during the at-bat. If you're Stevenson, you know his swing path, what he does, tends to live more up the middle opposite way. How does he profile against Imanaga?
Well, you know, I had a conversation with Tyler about Imanaga. I did not know that he had never faced Imanaga before. And he said, I've got to get used to it. I said, I think you want to have him bring the ball down to you because that's my #1 goal. Now, having said that, he chased the high fastball up around the eyes to strike out against Imanaga his first time up. It's one thing to say it. It's another thing to actually get up there and do it. You know, make him get the ball down sounds so simple until you're in the batter's box with 2 strikes.
And that old Mike Tyson quote, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth.
Oh.
Swing and a miss. And he did it again there, Chris. You pointed it out earlier in the game, the very elongated hold.
Well, when you hold the ball a long time, and he does it with runners on base mostly, two things happen. Number one, you tend to freeze the runner at first base because your muscles get tight. And then you're also kind of mentally freezing the hitter. You know, when is he going to finally throw me the baseball?
Leday, a hard fly ball out to center his first time. He drives this one to left center. PCA, wind blowing it a bit, and he still brings it in. This Mother's Day, save big on Reds Rookies Kids Club memberships for Little Reds fans newborn to age 3. Get 20% off any stage of the Reds Rookie memberships. Use code MOM at checkout. Visit reds.com/fanclubs for more information. A buzz of Alex Bregman, who has flied out to center. Been a rough trip for these Reds in a variety of ways. Pummeled by Pittsburgh in the first 2, and then 4 straight heartbreaking losses. If you wanted to try to test what actually is worse, the feeling after getting blown out or losing a late lead and losing by a narrow score, well, this road trip has had both extremes, unfortunately, for the Reds. There's another leadoff walk for Lauder.
Terry Francona telling anybody around him who will listen, why is he making it so tough on himself? Reds have made themselves kind of a tough on themselves this entire road trip.
Those bottom 2 numbers, that's it, right? 159 men in scoring position. Bullpen ERA of almost 8.5.
When you were winning by 1 run, you didn't think about it. When you lose by 1 run, you go back and you replay the whole game in your head.
Now, you had asked our stats crew to do some digging. That was a 4-pitch walk to Bregman about how many 3-ball counts there have been.
I just felt, and Terry Francona's told us in our meetings that we have with him, that it's not only the walks, and the Reds have walked a lot of people, maybe more than anybody in baseball, but it's also the number of 3-ball counts that their pitchers have gone to, which runs up your pitch count. It gives the opposition a better look at what you're throwing, and the Reds are 3rd in baseball right now, I believe, in the number of 3-ball counts they have given up to opposing batters.
It's about 1 in every 4 men at the plate are working a 3-ball count. Houston, by the way, has the highest rate of that by 1 percentage point. 2-1. And here's another 3-ball count. It's what we saw in the 9th inning in the Cubs rally. You know, Carson Kelly, 2 outs, bases empty. Reds are 1 out away from winning the game. Gets a 3-0 count, and then later gets a hard single beyond second. Pete Crow Armstrong works a 3-ball count, gets a home run. Back-to-back walks begin back-to-back innings. So Tyler Stevenson out for a chat. At Riverfront, it lives forever in the minds of so many Reds fans. The scoreboard showing that walks will haunt, and it's one of the truisms of the game. Lauder was aided by a double play, did not yield a run despite back-to-back walks to begin last inning. The difference is here, you're doing it against the heart of the order, and arguably their most clutch hitter this series, Michael Busch, standing in.
You know, when I see Rhett Lauder walk batters the way he has done the last 2 innings, I'm convinced it's totally mental. He's got a very repeatable delivery. He doesn't overthrow. He's got pitches that he can normally command very well. And either he doesn't feel good out there arm-wise, or he's just not concentrating to the point that he has to be to pitch in this ball game and keep runners off base.
Michael Busch went 3-0 his first time, grounded out. Lauder has faced 13 batters. 5 of them have seen a 3-ball count.
On Michael Busch, I'm looking first pitch right down the middle.
Grounded in, changeup. So 5 straight out of the zone for Lauder. And here comes Terry Francona and athletic trainer Shauna McQueenie.
Yeah, I think his arm slot has dropped so much that they obviously see something right there. Either he knows about it before the ball game, they were maybe aware of it.
He has thrown 10 pitches on the inning, only 1 strike.
Remember that when Lauder missed the entire season last year, a lot of it had to do with his rib muscle problem that he had, not his arm. Yeah, the oblique. But he tried to pitch through it, and he didn't tell anybody that it was bothering him for a long time until the point that it got really bad. And he's the kind of kid to make no excuses and try to pitch through it if he possibly can. That's probably what he's trying to do right now.
You see Francona shaking his head, putting his hand on Lauder's shoulder after a long back and forth with athletic trainer Shauna McQueenie, and I think, yep, he's coming out of this game. Now, the Reds just lost Brandon Williamson to the IL, got placed on the 60 a few days ago. They lost their closer, Emilio Pagan, during the series, and now Lauder, a second straight start with stretches of command problems, is coming out early here in the 4th.
And they've already been down Nick Lodolo and Hunter Green to start the year.
That's right. Did they see something on this pitch itself?
I mean, his arm slot is so low right there that it just tells me that something's wacky is going on.
Now, the good news, the Reds have Lodolo coming back. In fact, he'll pitch tomorrow in the opener against the Astros. Their plan is to just move all the starters back. Chase Petty looked pretty good with that changeup this series. If they did have to make a move, if there is an injury, you can call a player back without waiting for the full window.
He would probably be the most likely pitcher coming up. Looked very good in his last outing. Petty did. Not only the changeup, but he had a pretty good run of it with that slider as well, and sneaky good fastball. I think Petty has really made some good advances from last year to this year.
Well, it looks like Connor Phillips is coming on. We'll step aside. Lauder lifted with 2 on, nobody out after a training visit in the 4th. Well, a sour scene with Lauder lifted, but good news, Nick Lodolo yesterday, a clean bullpen or injury report from Elk and Elk. He looks to be on target for his 2026 Major League first outing. He'll get the ball tomorrow against the Houston Astros. Burns and Abbott to follow. Former Pirate Mike Burrows gets the nod tomorrow. Arrighetti will go Saturday, Sunday, TBD for the Stros. Well, similar scene to what happened in Pittsburgh, right? Lauder lifted this time with an athletic trainer alongside. Skyline Chili called to the bullpen. It's Connor Phillips in behind him.
Yeah, Connor Phillips came into that game and really just could not find the strike zone at all. He faced 4 batters, walked all 4 that he faced. There's one reason why he's got more walks than innings pitched.
Second highest walk rate in the game among qualified pitchers right now, but might have the best stuff in the Reds bullpen.
Well, the stuff is competitive if you can throw it in the zone. But the last time he did pitch here, he threw the ball over the plate. And he does have the stuff to get out of this jam.
He inherited a bases loaded jam when he appeared a few nights ago. Did not yield any inherited runners home. Backdoor miss to Bush, so 2-0. He inherited the 1-0 count. Lauder, for what it's worth, allowed 1 hit, the home run by Conforto. But when you watch Phillips warm up, what do you see in how he finishes?
Well, there's 2 things. One is the way he sets up, and if you look at his feet, he's set up very closed out there, like he's almost set to throw a ball into the right-handed batter's box, almost into the batting circle on the Cubs side. And I always believe that pitching is a linear exercise, meaning you step to exactly where you're going to throw. And he's still a little bit across his body. Some pitchers do that and they get away with it and they do just fine. But for a young pitcher that has control problems,
Bounce to Steer, and it kicks off his backhand. Stop sign at third. Good charge by Dunn. I am surprised at that. I know the Cubs have a lead, but why hold Alex Bregman there?
Now, one of the few times you're going to see Spencer Steer go over him, try to backhand, and the ball goes off the edge of his glove. I think maybe because there was nobody out in the inning.
Scored a single. So here's Conforto, who has homered. Sun brightens noticeably.
So getting back to the thoughts about stepping to where you're going to throw, that's the simplest way for a pitcher to learn how to throw the ball over the plate. And when you set up a little cockeyed, your body has to make even more of an adjustment to get back online. A lot of pitchers get away with it and do a good job, but if you're having problems throwing strikes, that's one place to start looking.
Way in. Good glove by Stevenson. Ball. The flags right now show that wind going straight out. Two and two.
You know what we have noticed about Connor Phillips, when he runs into a little bit of a streak of wildness, he's a little better throwing strikes with his breaking ball than his fastball.
Misses on the heater, full count. Reds have issued 13 walks with the bases loaded, the most in the majors. There's another. 2-0. The next closest team, the White Sox, with 8. Dansby Swanson is grounded out to short. There are few ballparks in the league that fill up as significantly once you're a couple of innings in and have the same kind of juice on a regular basis that Wrigley does. Here's a different energy right now. 1-1. Bounce to third, handled by Hayes. Hit the bag. It's a tag at the plate. He's got a tag.
No! No! No!
And then out signaled at third. The run comes in. Hayes hit the bag, and Stevenson didn't realize there was no force at the plate. He stepped on the plate thinking he could force out Ian Happ, but he scores because it was a tag play.
Oh, it's just a middle school mistake right here. You have to pay attention to what's going on ahead of you. Stevenson did not see the force play at third base. Once Hayes steps on the bag, the force is relieved. You have to tag the runner. Oh my.
So Swanson reaches on the RBI fielder's choice. It's Bush erased at third. Crow Armstrong fouls one away. 3-0. Will this road trip end, Chris? This trip has been a train wreck. Crow Armstrong is walked. Bounced up the middle. Stewart can't get to it. Wave is on at third. Bush coming home. Scooped by Myers. 4-0. Swanson went first to third. There's been nothing hit that hard. The ball by Bush was the best batted ball, and it went off Steer's glove. Runner off from first. Crow Armstrong has second.
Yeah, and that was also kind of a mental mistake there by Connor Phillips. Completely forgot about the base stealing threat at first base with Crow Armstrong. Never looked at him, never stopped.
Now it's Horner on deck, infield in against Amaya, who was walked. And you have to pitch to Amaya. Amaya is not nearly the hitter that Horner is. Behind 2-0. Up the middle and through. That's a couple more runs. Swanson scores. Crow Armstrong scores. It's gone off the rails. It's 6-0. The Reds began this road trip in sole ownership of first place in the division. They're shaping up right now that they could be in sole ownership of last by the trip's end. They began the day sharing the cellar with two other teams. Milwaukee's off today. The Pirates are, I think, just about to get underway. Ball one to the 8th batter of the inning. Horner is grounded out twice, including a double play. Rope to left center. Amaya sprints through second. Horner up to second. Just now barehanded by Myers. They send Amaya. Relay to the plate. Lost by Stevenson. Advanced to third for the batter runner Amaya. Double, third on the throw. Reds down 7.
A shot into the gap. The only question is whether the runner at first base, Miguel Amaya, who's the catcher, ended up scoring on this. And the throw looks like it had a chance to beat him. It was unable to be picked up and tagged by Tyler Stevenson. And nothing is going the Reds' way right now.
Ballesteros with the infield in. As flied out, grounded out. This road trip began with a pair of bruisings at the hands of the Pirates, and this score is ugly in the 4th in the finale. It all began with a 4-pitch walk drawn by Alex Bregman, who is on deck to hit again. ABS powered by T-Mobile.
Pitch is called a ball. The catch is challenging.
Stevenson gets that strike for Phillips. They have announced right shoulder discomfort for Rhett Lauder. Luis May is now warming. Goes out and gets that ball launched to left. Caught backpedaling on the track. Tagged by Horner. 8-0. Final line for Lauder, 3 innings plus 2 batters, 3 runs, a hit, 4 walks, a strikeout, and a home run. Bregman has walked, scored. He's also flied to center. To Hayes. Reds have some climbing to do. A 7 spot last half inning. They now trail 8-0. Blake Dunn has struck out so far today. And he takes a strike. One of the blunt realities of baseball, Chris, you played this game. You wore a major league uniform on the field. Momentum is a very real thing. I love numbers, but human beings play the game, and that was an avalanche of momentum in that inning that just crushed the Reds.
You're exactly right. Momentum when you're winning is confidence. Momentum can also happen when you're losing, where you think when anything begins to go wrong, the first thing you think is, uh-oh, here we go again. This happened yesterday and it happened the day before, and you can't keep yourself in the moment as easy as you should, because you're expecting things to kind of repeat itself. When you're winning, you repeat winning. When you're losing, you repeat losing. And that's where the momentum of the ball game can kind of take over. You know, the biggest thing, though, you know, and you owe it to your teammates, is to get out there and give a professional performance on every pitch. At the plate or as a pitcher, you gotta grind, dig as deep as you need to dig, and do whatever you can to stay in the ball game.
Brian Hayes has singled, and he gets another base hit, and that's one of the other glories of this sport. You know, talking some with producer Josh Hall during break, and you look at other sports, they have timeouts, right? You can feel that momentum coming. You can call that team timeout. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Let's take a breath. Let's talk. That doesn't exist in that same way in baseball. But there's also no clock in baseball. You just have outs to work with. So a large deficit can at least be injured, if not overcome. And all you can do is go pitch by pitch and day by day. Dane Myers has struck out. He has flied out. One of the problems for the Reds is that they're facing a very talented lefty who looks to be pretty locked in this year.
And a team that has built a lot of momentum here at home.
Yep. Yeah, that is one big working element, right? You know, while the Reds are on the wrong side of that 7 spot in the inning, this is a Cubs club that's been baseball's best team for 3 weeks now. It's not just the Reds that they've been coming back against or beating, period. Swing and a miss. 8 strikeouts for Imanaga. Matt McLean is singled to right. He is struck out. Stateside, Imanaga's had as many as 11 strikeouts in a game, including once this year in Philly when he allowed just 1 run over 6 innings. That came on tax day. That's happened to him a decent amount today. Those extreme arm side misses away to righties, into lefties.
Well, every time it's happened, though, he's been able to come back and find the zone again.
ABS. That is a strike. At 7th spot, the most runs allowed in an inning for the Reds since the last of July last year. And while they gave up 17 runs to the Pirates on Saturday, there were 3 different innings with 5 runs.
Well, I mean, just last inning, you think about the errors that happened. The error meaning a leadoff walk. Actually, the leadoff first 2 batters. And an error, a physical error, and then a mental error on a ground ball where a force was relieved and you needed a tag. I mean, they just gave away outs. If you're going to give one of the better offenses in baseball 5 outs an inning, they're going to score a lot of runs.
3-2. Misses inside. Hayes was off on the pitch, so a walk drawn by McLean, and the Reds have 2 on for Ellie De La Cruz. That's the 2nd walk drawn by the Reds today. De La Cruz has flied to right twice. Drives this ball to right field. Conforto at the wall. Best ride for the Reds today, caught. Our Kia player profile, the Cubs bats last inning. 7 runs on 4 hits, 3 of them singles. Walked 3 times, had a stolen base, at 10 men to the plate. Ian Happ leads it off. He walked and scored last inning. He's also struck out looking. Luis May is now in. First pitch fouled away. Our FanDuel pitching change.
Doors close and others open, and that's the way that Luis May has to think about his opportunity up here this time through. Like we've said, so many of the young pitchers the Reds have, great arm, good stuff, plenty good enough stuff to pitch here. Not only pitch here, but pitch here at the back end of a bullpen. But it's harnessing the command.
And for May, who has that bowling ball sinker, the secondary stuff does look better on this latest go round of the big leagues. It's a swing and miss on that slider, strike 3. It's a much better pitch.
The slider is a better pitch. I think his delivery looks a lot better to me overall. One of the problems with young pitchers that are in relief in the minor leagues is that they don't really pitch a ton of innings. They may have a ton of appearances, but if you've got a kid with a really good arm and he's trying to figure out his control, in order to do that you have to figure out your delivery. In order to do that you need repetitions. You don't always get those when you're in short relief. That's why a lot of times the highest prospects in the minor leagues for an organization are starters, so that they can get the reps in starting rotation and then work in the bullpen on the side with the pitching coach. So a guy like Luis May, who's been, identified as a short reliever right from the get-go, it's a little tougher for him to get to the point where he's really comfortable with his delivery because the reps have not been there.
That's a good point. Yeah, and once you are at AAA, you're on the 40, you then get a taste of the bigs. It's different because you need to be available just in case you're called upon, like May is in this run. This is slapped to left center. Myers leaps against the wall and makes the catch. Oh, a great play by Dane Myers. A well-timed burst to take it away from Bush. Our All-State good hands replay.
Goes to show you that the wind is playing havoc with balls in the air today. And he thought he had that on the warning track, no problem. He has to go into the ivy. He's got his hand out to feel where the fence is. He goes right up against the basket to make the catch.
And remember, behind that ivy is a brick wall.
Andre Dawson hiding in there somewhere.
Comebacker just past May. Well, Conforto getting his first start in 8 days. Has homered, has walked bases loaded, and now has the up the middle hit. Yeah, and so that idea, Chris, though, there are so many innings in the lower stage of the minor leagues. Are other organizations doing that more now? I mean, I was in the minors for 15 years, and that was pretty common with the Royals. I was in high A in the Carolina League. They would, in fact, often, remember Bill Fisher? Had 2 big claims to fame, gave up the longest home run at Yankee Stadium to Mickey Mantle, and set the record that I think still stands for most consecutive innings without issuing a walk. He was a pitching coach in the big leagues with the Red Sox when Clemens had a 20 strikeout game, was with the Rays. By the time I knew him, he was their minor league coordinator, and he had low A and high A generally piggybacking 2 to 3 spots in the rotation to do exactly what you're saying. Have 2 men get stretched out to get more innings. And they could become starters. They could be relievers, but they'd learn who they were as pitchers.
I think learning, the last thing you said is the most important part, is learning who they are, learning their delivery, and learning how to be their own pitching coach in a game.
And one of the other truisms of baseball, and he was around the sport his whole life, every time he came to town, he would ask how the Blue Rocks, the team I worked for, were doing and how the opponent was doing. And generally, he would go against the grain of whatever the trend was. If the opponent had won 10 in a row, he'd say good, because the odds are they're not going to sweep a 3-game series and win 13 in a row. And if they had lost 10 in a row, he'd go, uh-oh. It could be a rough series. They're probably not going to lose 13 in a row. Bounce to short, McLean. And these are tough times for the Reds. But a big play by Dane Myers, down a bunch on the road with a literal brick wall. He goes up and gets it.
Liberty.
At each and every home game, if a Red hits the Toyota hit and win sign, one lucky fan wins a new built-in-the-USA Toyota Tundra. Register for the Tundra Home Run Challenge and your chance to win at any Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky Toyota dealer. Well, Reds have put their leadoff man on twice. They do have 4 hits in the game, but the hits have all been singles. So add those hits and a walk. Despite having a man on base in every inning, they are 0 for 12 with men on base. Sal Stewart has struck out. He has bounced to the pitcher. Arguably the best batted ball by a Red today was the out by De La Cruz to end last inning. Handled at the wall by Conforto. High fly left field. Sal Stewart slugs his 10th home run. He gets his first in a dozen days, spoils the shutout. Reds on the board. It's 8-1. Stewart ties Ellie De La Cruz for the team lead. Each man with 10. Spencer Steer is singled and walked. And that came on a four-seamer. Chris, was that the first fastball? The first that he's seen all game, right?
I think you might. Yeah, you might be right. I know he didn't see any in the first at bat. All splitters, and ended up with a strikeout.
And I'm pretty sure
the first pitch back to the pitcher's second time up, that was an off-speed pitch.
Yeah.
Might be the last time he ever sees a fastball from Emanaga. Pitchers may not remember everything, but they remember that.
That goes back to one of the other truths of the game, what Barry Larkin says all the time about who the best breaking ball and off-speed hitters are. The guys who don't miss the fastball.
It's a great saying.
One ball, two strikes. Bounced to short and under the backhand of Dansby Swanson. The normally sure-handed shortstop who's won a couple of Gold Gloves seemed to take his eye off that ball, peeking at Steer, and it skipped underneath.
The new method of fielding by infielders, even great infielders now like Dansby Swanson, and I guess they make a pretty good argument that you stay more athletic when you field the ball off to the side, especially when you go down to get a backhand. But the problem is when it takes a bad hop, you've got no secondary plan. Of course, if you bobble it at shortstop, you're not going to get the man at first base anyway.
First error of the game. Stevenson has struck out twice. That is Swanson's fourth error this year. 1-1. High fly center field. Crow Armstrong going way back. And he's got it. Long out for Stevenson, one away. J.J. Bleday has flied to center twice. Bregman plays way off the line. Toe on the edge of the infield grass. Ball one. There's that left on left sweeper. Lefty's hitting only a $125 against that breaking ball. Bregman is backed up. Successive soft strikes. Would he dare throw him a fastball in the zone? Full count. Check swing, foul. Remember, we have seen some wide misses by Imanaga, arm side, into lefties, away to righties. Payoff again. Ties his season high, his third walk. So the Reds a run in, now have 2 on for Blake Dunn.
You know, it's easy to lose your concentration when you're in a situation that Shota Imanaga finds himself, where his team has a huge run and all of a sudden you're up by 8 runs and the intensity of the game is no longer there. That sounds like an excuse, but it's a real thing that happens. That is not the trainer, that is the interpreter.
Along with pitching coach Tommy Hotovy. Well, he's at 91 pitches. It is Dunn at the plate. Ke'Bryan Hayes on deck. Dunn has been struck out twice, and Trent Thornton is now warming. Reds saw Thornton at the close of yesterday's game. And a really good one. Imanaga, no play, bunt base hit. Blake Dunn to load the bases. He snaps it 0 for 19 in the bigs. It's his first hit since he had a bunt base knock last year.
Well, what a perfect bunt. You talk about being able to deaden the ball before it really gets down the line very much. He just very soft hands right there, puts it in no man's land. No play for the lefty pitcher.
Well, the base is loaded for Ke'Bryan Hayes. So that's some odd symmetry. Sal Stewart entered the series on an 0 for 19. First pitch he saw, got a base hit. Matt McLean entered yesterday on an 0 for 19. First AB, got a base hit. Blake Dunn went into that AB 0 for 19 going back to last year. Got a bunt hit. Hayes has 2 hits today. He had 1 in 14 ABs on the road trip entering the day. Swing and a miss. Nine strikeouts for Imanaga.
It's almost like Imanaga turned the switch on there against Ke'Bryan Hayes.
Top of the order, Dane Myers. Big cut. You don't have to get them all back in one inning, but you got to chip away when opportunities arrive. It was a solo shot by Stewart to begin the inning. Can they add on? Bases loaded. Fouled away.
Imanaga's got a little bit of motivation, obviously, even though you're up big. You know, you've got bases loaded out there. You don't want to give up runs, whether they're earned runs or not. And he's dialed it up a little bit here the last couple of batters.
Struck him out. Double-digit strikeouts for the 5th time in a big league game by Shota Imanaga. The bare hand.
Okay.
8-1, Reds trail, 6th inning. 2nd inning of work for Luis May. Pete Crow Armstrong has been aboard twice, a walk, a ribby hit, a steal. He has scored a run. Bounce softly to Stewart. PCA can fly. Fluid transfer. Steer able to adjust on that shovel. 1 down. Brief word now from Miami Valley Gaming.
Get ready to get lucky at MVG. With over 2,200 of the best gaming machines, we got you covered.
Miguel Amaya aboard twice. A walk, a 2-run hit. He has scored a run. So Shota Imanaga likely done now. 1 run, 6 innings. Struck out 10. Through 99 pitches. He got swing and miss, Chris, 22 times today. 2nd highest total of his career.
As we said at the very onset, I think he's getting better every year. I think the Cubs have an option for next year with Shota.
Pitch is called a strike. The batter's challenging.
ABS here. It is a strike.
Pitch is a strike. Chicago has 1 challenge remaining.
Appeal, no go. Now, by the way, that's Scott Barry, our crew chief on balls and strikes. I have loved how the umpires have handled ABS so far. I think it's a tool that can help everybody over the years. I think you'll see an even truer called zone as a result of it. But there's been a calm relay of information to the fans. I think using the microphone more, as the other sports have for years, is a good thing.
I think the umpires are even getting more dialed in on the new strike zone, because it is a new strike zone.
Yep.
From side to side, it's the same, exactly 17 inches, but up and down is where it varies. Oh my goodness.
Amaya's on.
I've had a lot of conversations with umpires already this year, John, and they're getting used to it too. One thing you may not know, and we talked about this a lot already this year, umpires are in constant contact with the ABS operator up here in the press box. So after every pitch, an umpire can, under his breath, ask the ABS operator, was that a strike? Was that a ball? Was that high? So they're continuing to kind of dial in to that ABS strike zone, and they're going to get better and better at it as the season goes on. They're already very good.
And I think that's part of what ABS has shown, right? I mean, how many of the affirmations of calls, much less if it is slightly off, have been by tiny, minute margins.
Exactly.
Corner bails a bit. That's called a strike. And by the way, and you know this, Chris, because you know the rules and umpires better than anybody, but I'm not sure the average viewer understands this. Someone might be asking, well, you're changing the strike zone just for ABS? The strike zone has changed many times throughout baseball history. I mean, in the early stage of the game, there was a time where you could request a high pitch or a low pitch. It was arm pitch to top of knees before 1963. It was top of shoulders to knees to 68. The year of the pitcher was different in just about every way in 68. And bottom of the kneecap became more of a pitch in 1996.
Well, all the changes you mentioned there were actually changes in the rule book. The most recent changes are not rule book changes. For instance, the rule book did not change when they put in the ABS this year. It has nowhere in the rule book saying that the top of the strike zone is 53.5% of the batter's height.
Right.
So it's how the interpretation is being done is the big change now. The plate has always been 17 inches wide, but it used to be a few years ago that the umpires wouldn't call the actual rectangular strike zone. They were calling more of an oval blob, and that's one of the things that's been corrected.
Ballesteros fouls one opposite way. He's 0 for 2, a sac fly.
So it's really happening more and more in Major League Baseball where the interpretations of certain rules are changing, but the wording in the rule book hasn't.
And there's one quirky play that probably will see a rule book adjustment on the fair foul call of that dribbler down the chalk line that, as I understand it, the umpire manual added some nuggets to it this year, but there's been no rule book change yet.
Yeah, you're talking about whether the bottom of the baseball is on the foul line versus hanging over the line. And the interpretation now is that it has to be touching the line to be a fair ball rather than just hanging over. And that was originally made like that, where it could be hanging over for balls that are hit down the line and hit the foul line, but not in the home run area. I think the one umpire told me it was mainly Fenway Park that they made that interpretation for. But now that we've got, so many cameras everywhere, you have to take every consideration of every play possible. So when a ball dies between home and first base or third and home and comes to a rest, you have to determine whether it's really a fair ball or foul ball.
Bounce to McLean, hits the bag, just got it. Well, they force out Horner. Ballesteros able to reach.
I think there are some other rules, John, that need some tidying up by Major League Baseball. One being the fielder obstruction rule. How umpires really need to interpret that. It used to be that if a fielder got a play coming his way, he could put his knee down in front of the bag at second base and block that runner from getting there. You can no longer do that.
Way in on Bregman.
But it is so much a judgment call that, and it's hard for umpires to see where the knee is or whether the blocking of the base and seeing what the play at the plate, the tag is. That could use a little bit of clarification.
Yeah, I thought you did a great video on your Baseball Rules Academy website about the pickoff play that the Cubs employed against Ellie De La Cruz and the possibility of obstruction there, which is a judgment call.
Well, if you took a look right now at where Spencer Steer is holding the runner on at first base, he can't be anywhere really in that baseline. He can't be blocking the base with his foot. So his right foot is allowing that runner a full access to the first base bag.
Popped up. Stewart coming on. Well, May works around a couple of base runners. A scoreless inning.
Summer's here.
The Reds offense stymied by Shota Imanagi.
He was really on his game. Would you say 20 swings and misses for Imanaga? That is something to really, pitching coaches, analysts, they'd look at that quite a bit because they show that it's not just good pitching, but it's almost unhittable pitching. He's got a league leading now 126 swings and misses. Shota Imanaga. He gives way to a right-hander, Trent Thornton.
The Reds saw him to close yesterday's game. That was his first action as a Cub. He has been in the bigs with the Blue Jays and Mariners. McLean has singled and walked. He's also struck out. Check swing. No appeal needed. 2-2. ABS.
Pitch is called a ball. The catcher's challenging.
It is elevated and a ball. Cubs are out of challenges.
Chicago's out of challenges.
Ellie De La Cruz just gave a fist bump to a little kid in a De La Cruz jersey. He's the on-deck man, and all the fans around there, including many in Cubs gear, just gave a big cheer. And when I think of some of my first trips coming here, Chris, and they've all come with you and the Reds, I think of looking back at video and the times when we were together watching Joey Votto interact with the fans here at Wrigley.
Kind of a love-hate relationship, I think, with Cubs fans. As a visiting player, Votto no exception to that. He had a way of either kind of getting him over on his side or antagonizing him, whatever the mood he was in that day.
Generally made an impression.
Especially on the pitching staff.
There's a little kid, got a fist pound from Ellie. How cool is that? If you're that age, you're sitting that close, first of all, you're all the way downstairs a few rows from the field. You go over to say hey to Ellie, and he comes over, gives you a little fist tap right before he's about to stand in. Reds are down 8-1, but that kid's day was just made. De La Cruz first chance to bat left-handed today. He has flied to right 3 times, including a nice play at the wall by Conforto when the Reds stranded 2 in the 5th. Temperature has noticeably dipped as the clouds have covered up the sun. Oh, rake to right. Conforto has to play this one on a hop off the wall. Standing double for De La Cruz. And now the little kid is getting cheered downstairs for his impact on that double.
I've not seen a wind day like this at Wrigley Field in a long time, where the wind has blown hard in every different direction today. It is now blowing straight in.
I wonder if there was some other exchange between those two. Sal Stewart.
You mean maybe a batting tip?
Maybe. Ellie sit on the fastball middle in. Because that whole 2 sections, good probably 15-20 folks called for the kid to come back into the aisle, and they all cheered around him, and many are in Cubs gear. Most, in fact, are in Cubs gear. He's become a little celebrity down there. Stewart homered his last time. He's 1 for 3. Game's not over. Reds can try to chip away. Got De La Cruz at second base. Homestand starts tomorrow. Astros will be in town. Three and two. Just reading the body language of Stewart, these are far more comfortable takes and pitches for him to see than when he was facing Imanaga.
Indeed.
And he, by the way, connected on the only run the Reds got against Imanaga. Grounded up the middle. Behind the bag, Horner. De La Cruz to third. Spencer Steer is singled, walked, reached on error. His hit streak at 10 games, tied as the second longest of his major league career. Steer was the first man that Thornton faced when he entered the game last night. Out of the ground into a double play. Up and in. We're seeing a spike in the number of seagulls, and they're getting a little more ambitious, going after some food out in the bleachers. A few are setting up shop in the outfield. Up and in, he walked it. No, 2 on for the Reds. Here comes Craig Counsell. Or excuse me, Tommy Hotovy. So they'll likely get someone up and warming. Jose Franco has been warming for the Reds. It appears he'll be on the next half inning. Yeah, the bullpen here is covered and detached from the rest of the field. It's actually fairly warm and comfortable in the bullpen area, but Ryan Rollison warming now for the Cubs. You talk to the pitchers and they're a little detached from the game because of where they're watching it from.
Well, there was a time that the bullpen felt like you were sitting in box seats right down on either line when you would warm up. If one got away from the bullpen catcher, they'd have to call timeout. Everybody would look down. Who threw that wild pitch down there?
Tyler Stevenson 0 for 3.
You could always bring a few extra baseballs in the bullpen bag and trade off for some hot dogs and refreshments during the game.
Any standout trades for you over the years?
Well, there was a trade one time where a couple of guys in the bullpen who had just pitched the day before, who were just out there getting some sun, wanted to a brew.
Yeah.
Of course, you can't do that in a baseball uniform during a game. So they required the beer to be delivered in a Coca-Cola cup.
Smart camouflage. Red strand of hair. I could use a Coke, please. Mentioned Votto interacting with the fans here at Wrigley. Last of June 2022. Votto goes deep. He's looking for a friend. When he comes back around, high five to a Cubs kid. One of the many times that he created a smile right near the plate. Jose Franco is now in. The Reds could use some smiles. This has been a difficult trip. They're staring at a freight train coming at them for a winless road trip. A 7-spot surrendered back in the 4th inning where the Cubs sent a man to the plate 10 times. Right at the heart of it. Rhett Lauder was lifted, right shoulder discomfort. Now Franco faces Ian Happ, who has walked and scored, is on base streak now at a career high 28 games. He has struck out twice. Reds won that game in late June 15-7. I believe that year and the year before there were a series of games around this time of year, May, June, Reds Cubs, that saw some crazy scores. Well, Luis made 2 scoreless innings, 1 hit, a walk, a hit batter, did strike out a man.
You know, the 7th inning stretch here at Wrigley Field is one of those things in baseball that other ballparks try to replicate. It's just almost impossible to do. They have a guest singer nearly every day. Most of the time somebody of importance or connected with the city of Chicago, but today connected with the city of Cincinnati. The Big O, Oscar Robertson, sang the national anthem, sang the "Take Me Out to the Ball Game." So the Big O was born in Tennessee. He played for the Royals and then the Bucks, Milwaukee Bucks. And I'm wondering, I got to ask him, I get him in the hallway, what's with the Chicago Cubs gear? Oh, what a player. What a gentleman.
Skied to left. Brief word now from auto owners.
With the right coverage from auto owners, when the unexpected happens, you know you're covered. That's simple human sense.
Gavin Hollowell is now warming in the Cubs pen. Conforto's had a great game. Home run, bases loaded, walk. Another base hit. He has scored twice. Hollowell was just called up when Corbin Martin was DFA'd before the game today. Line to right center. Dunn gets by him to the wall. Standing double for Conforto. Triple shy of the cycle.
He's hit the ball hard today. Obviously, the bombing home run in the second inning, but that ball had a little overspin on it. And it spun right by the right fielder, Blake Dunn.
One of the hardest hit balls in the game today, Dansby Swanson. RBI reach on a fielder's choice. He is 0 for 3. He got on when Ian Happ scored. Michael Bush had been erased on a force at third by Ke'Bryan Hayes, who quickly and alertly stepped on the bag, flipped to the plate to try to cut down Happ. But Tyler Stevenson thought the force was still on and just hit the plate, never tried to tag him. And the run scored. Three and 0 here. Seven different Cubs have driven in a run today. Now Swanson walks. Bring your furry friend to the game on Wednesday, the first Bark in the Park of the season, presented by Purina. Ticket packages available for dogs and their humans. Reds.com/bark. Pete Crow Armstrong first pitch. Loop to left. Leday the call. End of inning. Cincinnati Reds baseball is presented by your Greater Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky Ram dealers. By UC Health. Expect more at uchealth.com. And by Bet365, where winning is everything. On the north side, the Reds are on the wrong side. 8-1 in the 8th. Back up from AAA, Gavin Hollowell is in.
Hollowell, a big dude, 6 feet 7 inches tall. Originally came up with the Rockies. He was picked up on waivers a couple of times, both in 2024, once by the Diamondbacks and then by the Cubs. So he pitched a little bit with the Cubs last year, and here he is again this year. 8 games last year for the Cubs, and first time this season.
And got his longest look in 23 with the Rockies. There's a lot of action. Long arms and legs.
Boy.
Good amount of movement there.
Oh, sidewinding breaking ball there.
That is cranked to right center. Pete Crow Armstrong going back and makes the catch. That's 3 long fly ball outs to center by Bleday today. He is 0 for 3 with a walk.
JJ keeps hitting those like that at Great American Ballpark. There'll be nobody there to catch it.
It's now Blake Dunn, who's bunt hit, snapped at 0 for 19 his last time. He has struck out twice. He's 1 for 3. One and one. to left field.
Get up.
And that is gone. Blake Dunn goes deep. Got a bunt for his first base knock of the year. He launches for second. That's his third career major league home run and his first of 2026.
Boy, he hit this one like a rocket shot. It's a little sidearm fastball that came right in the wheelhouse.
Now the Reds have 2 runs, both solo homers. T. Brian Hayes has 2 hits. He's also struck out. Line to short. Oh, what a grab by Swanson. That seemed to surprise him a bit. You can see the recoil as it whistled up near his left ear. See him say wow with the shades on. Well, line drive out, top of the order, and Will Benson is going to stand in and pinch hit for Dane Myers. Blake Dunn, the first Red this year to go bunt, base hit, and home run in the same game. And what did we see yesterday? McLean ended his 0 for 19 on a broken bat, soft hit, and then hit a home run. No go on appeal. Check swing seemed to go. That's in the zone. And Benson walks. Matt McLean has singled and walked. He's 1 for 3. Decent lead for Benson. Hollowell misses on that front door breaking ball. And McLean pops it up. More shallow center. Horner way out, making the call and makes the catch. A trio of Cubs nearly collide. Conforto spins underneath like he's filming Breaking 3, the most electric boogaloo. I mean, that's a crazy play. Get out the cardboard. The 80s are back. Our Toyota game summary: Reds down 6. Rhett Lauder lifted after 3+, right shoulder discomfort. Imanaga double-digit strikeouts for the 5th time in his career. Everything swiveled on the 7-run 4th inning. And so this game is more the flavor of the first 2 of the road trip. And in between were 4 straight 1-run games. The Reds did not lose until the opponent's last at bat. But you look at the journey right now, they're staring at a 7th straight loss, outscored to this point 50-22.
Yeah, and in this series, they've lost their closer, Emilio Pagan, and they have lost perhaps Rhett Lauder, one of the guys in the starting rotation. So the road gets rockier for Terry Francona.
As Dusty Rhodes would say, hot times.
You could tell there was something going on with Rhett Lauder. He just really never got his arm up very much today. Those little sidearm breaking balls right there. There must have been some talk in the dugout, because after one pitch, he walked the first 2 batters of the inning, and then one pitch to the 3rd batter, and Francona called timeout, and they got him out of the ball game.
Jose Franco gets the strikeout of Amaya. By the way, Will Benson stays in the game at right. Blake Dunn has taken over for Dane Myers in center. Nico Horner, ribby double and a walk. He has also scored. First pitch launched to left. Leday's got it. I feel like each time I look up at the flags, they're moving in a different direction.
They are, and they're not just like waving a little bit. It is really blowing here.
You were remarking while we were at break how chilly it is, and our friends from around town said you got to wait until June.
It's a 2-club win today.
I'll be at the bar in the clubhouse. Bounced right side to Steer on the backhand. He feeds Franco. 1-2-3 inning.
Smarter than you look.
I need another Coke. The Mentalist Oz Perlman comes to GABP tomorrow night, performing an interactive postgame show presented by the Ohio Suicide Prevention Foundation. Get tickets now, a night of mind-bending entertainment at Reds.com/Oz. That's O-Z. Well, now in the 9th, De La Cruz leads it off. First pitch strike. Drilled a double his last time. He has flied to right 3 times. His last hit over 116 off the bat. Hardest hit ball by Ellie or by any Red this year. And Chris, I think that's a good sign, in part because we have seen better balance from Ellie right-handed. But on his career, he assaults baseballs left-handed. He had not shown that consistently yet. I think that's a good sign when he starts drilling the ball left-handed.
I just think he's going to get better and better as the year goes on, and then as his career goes on. The double that he hit last time was to right field. That was followed up by 3 fly balls to right field. His first few at bats were right-handed.
Swing and a miss.
Pretty nasty pitch there. Look at the break on this bad boy.
Reds have struck out 11 times today. Sal Stewart has homered. He's 1 for 4. A couple of ground outs and a strikeout. One and one. Here, instead of the normal bat boy, there are 2 men right behind hockey rink like doors that burst out when there's a foul ball on the track behind the circle. And it's kind of fun when it's in between and both doors swing open and they seem to have a brief staring contest about who can get to the ball faster. He got the last one. Temperature is noticeably dipped. Skies have darkened all the more. Way outside. We also think we may have found a better barometer of the wind. So the flags are going all over, right? But sometimes it can come down to something a little more simple. And there's some hair in the stands. That gentleman right there, who I feel like that looks like a starter jacket with the Rams in the 90s. Like he's on the staff with Kurt Warner. The greatest show on turf. Appeal. He did not go. Stewart is on. And that could be another tell for which way the wind is going. Through the visor.
What's he got in his pocket there? Cornflakes?
I like the Spurrier-like visor.
Yeah, that hair's been all over the place today.
I mean, I'm jealous of anyone with hair, Chris. You know that.
That visor might be holding it on.
In on Steer, who's been on a couple of times. He has singled once, walked twice. He's reached on error.
Gotta hand it to him, though. I mean, he's still keeping score. In an 8-2 ball game in the 9th inning.
Staying focused. Three and 0. Reds have had a knack for 9th inning runs. Routine center. 2 down. Well, the fans come to their feet. Tyler Stevenson, as of now, the last Red standing. Reds staring at a 7th straight loss. Cubs trying to make it 15 straight home wins. Would it be their longest home win streak since 1935? Stewart not held on. Cubs are also, by the way, on the verge of a 9th straight win overall. There's only one other 9-game or more win streak in the big leagues this year. It was the Cubs when they won 10 in a row a couple of weeks ago. That's the buzzsaw the Reds have run into. And this finale's final score is not going to be indicative of how competitive these games had been. 3 straight walk-offs and now a fatal finale. Three and one. I would not want to be on the lake in a boat right now. Stewart goes up and in. Stevenson's on. Pitching coach Tommy Hotovy strides out with J.J. Bleday due up. Bleday walked on a payoff in that 6th. He's also flied to center 3 times. Hit the ball pretty solidly all 3 times, and you believe it's the kind of contact that, as the weather warms, is more likely to leave the yard in most ballparks.
The first thing you notice about J.J. Bleday, and I saw it when he was playing with the Marlins, is that he just has a really beautiful looking natural swing. Doesn't look like he learned it in a hitting lab or in the cage. It just kind of came with him. And I think maybe the Reds got him at just about the right time. He did not make the ball club out of spring training, went down to the minor leagues, but he has been getting the ball pretty consistently since coming back up.
First pitch, center field. Crow Armstrong coming in on the sprint. He can't get there. Stewart scores. Stop sign for Stevenson. A little bloop for Bleday. He doubles home a run. It's 8-3. So now Blake Dunn, who followed a bunt hit with a homer. He is 2 for 4. Reds have Nathaniel Lowe on deck to pinch hit for Ke'Bryan Hayes. Can Dunn reach? Try to continue the conga line with the Reds down to their last out. Way outside. And Daniel Palencia is now warming. That is not what the Cubs want to do. They were up 8-2. Way outside. Hollowell's having a hard time finding the zone.
That breaking ball of his breaks so much it almost looks like it breaks out of the zone. He's got to throw it at the right-handed hitter just to keep it in the strike zone.
Another miss. Dunn's a guy who is very toolsy. He's also been a magnet for being hit by pitch in both the minors and the majors. Full count. Dunn walks, bases loaded. Reds aren't done yet. Nathaniel Lowe is going to pinch hit. Here comes Craig Counsell. He's going to go to his closer, Daniel Palencia. They led 8-2 at the start of the 9th. It's little things, right? Even if the Reds don't rally to win, the Cubs are the first place club in the division. This could domino for Chicago in the coming days. Stunning need for a pitching change as Hollowell could not harness it. 3 walks in the 9th.
AmFam.com.
Reds Astros GABP starting tomorrow night. Reds are back home. Nick Lodolo's on a major league mound for the first time this year. Burns and Abbott will round out the rotation on the weekend. Reds have had a knack for some 9th inning noise. They've now got the Cub closer in. 22 saves last year. 1 this year for Daniel Palencia, who inherits bases loaded, 2 outs, facing the pinch hitting Nathaniel Lowe.
26-year-old flamethrower.
Second time he and Lowe have ever danced. Lowe is 0 for 1 against him. Ball 1. On a cold day, he had to get hot in a hurry. Worked around a Stevenson 2-out hit, scoreless inning 2 nights ago. This is his second action in this 4-game series. Upstairs miss. He was sidelined since the earlier stage of April, had not pitched from April the 12th until 2 nights ago. Connects on a strike. He had a left lat strain, was only activated the day before this series started. A run in on a Blade double. Two 1 to Lowe. Fouled away. Hard foul.
All heat from Palencia.
You see something in how Lowe handles heat versus breakers.
He takes the fastball the other way and he pulls the breaking ball.
Two. Upstairs, full count, nowhere to put Lowe. Will Benson on deck.
That's a good take.
Runners go. Strike 3 on the tap. ABS.
Pitch is called a strike. The batter's challenging.
Of course you should. Now Stevenson touches the plate because it's either game over or he scores.
Oh, my goodness.
Just barely nicked the zone. The Cubs sweep the Reds. Reds leave a season-high 15 men on base. 100 on the edge.
Not exactly the way the Reds wanted to go out here this afternoon. I'll tell you that after losing 3 in a row on walk-off fashion. Each walk-off a different way. The Cubs came out and scored 7 in 1 inning and took it to the Reds this afternoon. The Reds will have not really a whole lot of time to worry about it. They got another game tomorrow night against the Houston Astros back at GABP.
Reds have the worst divisional record in the game. They are now 1-9 against their National League Central brethren. They began this road trip in sole possession of first place. They're going to return home with at least a share, if not outright ownership, of last place.
Well, they can't do a whole lot except one game at a time, and I think that's what Terry Francona is going to be preaching to them starting tomorrow night. Get your head in the game, because it didn't look like it was in the game that great today, and start playing a little bit better baseball.
Reds post game still to come. 8-3 your final in the finale.
I'm so hungry.